Yes, all right. So here we go. In preparation of the daily candle close, Saturday, February, let's double check, 9th, 2019. Let's take a look. Let's see what's going on. We got about a half hour, give or take, until we have the daily candle close, which is always an exciting time. Right now, I have up here just the hourly chart after that big move yesterday. Wanted to sort of see what was happening. What did we do today? What kind of moves were we making? Were the bulls able to sustain the momentum that they had prior to said candle? And not so much. So it's just been a relatively sideways day. Not much happening on the Bitcoin side of things. We were able to paint ourselves a little bit of a bull pennant here. And so that's what we have looking at. 2 touches to the bottom, 3 touches to the top. We're nearing the end of the pattern, so I'd like to see it break one way or the other. This line over here, this green box, was representative to the 382 of this current move, of the current big move. So I was thinking it was going to come down to the 382. However, that has not happened yet. So it could very well be a bit of hesitation before another run up, which would give us, then we'd start looking at an ABCD for targets on D based off of the distance from A to B. That would equal C to D, or at least that's what we would like to see. So we'll play around with it. We'll see what happens. Volatility on the weekends are, sometimes they're really good, sometimes not so much. We've had weekends that were crazy, and we've had weekends where it seemed like everybody was sleeping. So it's anybody's guess at this point. We just sort of follow what we see. Volume has been really low, just for this sideways action here. So in respect to the volume coming up during the first few moves up, the first few hours before the big candle, since then it's been very quiet. So I want to take a look at some of the bigger movers for the day. So for that, let me swing back over to the scanner, and let's see what's shaking. Let's see what's moving. We have CNDs making some moves. CNDs, they're low cap, but it's traded this in the past, 413. We could see strong trend, upward trend on the hourly and the 4 hour, so that's good. Sideways with a bullish tone on the shorter time frames, 5, 15, 30, and the 6. And then what we see on the daily and the 12 are sideways with a bearish tone. So what this could be is we could be taking over, excuse me, we could be taking over trend and converting these guys into some type of bull trend. So this is something that I may want to take a look at. So far today, definitely making some moves here. So far today, 28% up, 59% down of that 28 has been lost already, which brings us very close to the 618 of this current peak move. Based off of 1 day of trading, so 24 hours of trading. So I'm going to pull this up, CND BTC. Let's take a look at what kind of movers we got. CND BTC. Gotta forgive the screen. We all know the lagging deal, something that we're working on. We're getting there. Give it time. Give it time. Okay, so yeah, another real good pop. This is on the hourly chart. So hourly, we'd be looking at 24 hours of trading based off current trade. So we can certainly take a better look at this. I need my chart to work properly so that we can move some things around here and make it a little bit easier for people to see. Look at the volume, straight dead, no one trading until just now. So for whatever reason, CND has woken up The hourly, yeah. So the hourly is, it's bullish, so that's good. You know, you're in a bit of an uptrend. Resistance at this level seemed to have hold a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times it's been knocked down. So for me, that's an area of interest. I'm going to go ahead and place something on there so that I can keep that in focus for later if I need to. I'm just gonna estimate a roundabout. This isn't any type of scientific method here. I just want to look at what's obvious, right? So it was obviously resistance, 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 straight up to this area here. Now we can also see that this trend down on this side over here. Let's see. Let's put this down and let's take a better look. Get something going similar to this. So this is an ascending triangle pattern. It just means that we have you know, higher lows, and we're sort of maintaining the same resistance up top. Not a beautiful representation of it, but nonetheless still a pattern. So the breakout, you would play the breakout of this. You'd have to think of a few things at the same time, and you'd be not only playing that breakout, but also the breakout of this resistance. Because this resistance has held it back for quite some time, you're looking for a reasonable move up, which, of course, we most certainly got. What we do want to see is this move, and we would like to see the move, the retracement fib level of where we're currently at, to give us an idea of where price may go next, or where the next possible support zone is going to be. I really do apologize for the for the chart. It just simply doesn't want to behave, and I'm trying to load up chat over on the other screen, so just in case there is anybody in here and you have any questions, I'll be able to answer those for you, so long as I know the answer. If I don't, then we're all beat. You know what I'm saying? So in any event, let me get this thing going. I'm gonna pick my retracement tool, and I'm gonna grab the bottom here of this move, and I'm gonna grab the top of this big candle over here. And I want to see where we're at. I mean, it looks like, well, let's just see. Let's just do this. We'll throw the magnet tool on just to keep it a little precise for now, and we could see that this is the zone that I enjoy for pullbacks. 382 to the 618, with the 5 in the middle. 786 is a deep retrace, a pretty deep retrace, but on this particular coin, based off of this resistance level, if they really did want to come down and retest it, that really wouldn't surprise me. I would rather not see that. So since we've already lost the 382 and we've lost the 5, we have just flipped the 5 on the hourly chart, and now we broke through it, and now we've just tested it as resistance, and so far it's held, pushed the price down a little bit more. So I would be targeting the 618 if this is something that I wanted to get in on. But at least now I have a better idea on what type of move this was and the current trading that's happening now. So it's something I could keep on the radar. If I want to investigate this further, I certainly do want to look for some type of confluence based off of historical levels. So I'll pull up the daily chart and let's get a better idea on what's happening as far as, previous support and resistance. Let's crush this down a little bit. You see that wick? That's crazy. So in the day, on the one day, all that has retraced so far just in one candle. So now we could see previous times where this has happened and get a better idea on, is this something we even want to be involved in. And we could see something similar right here. Big massive candle similar to this one, huge wick, all came down the same day. And since then, with the retrace, not only 786, but you're almost 100% if you were to take it from the bottom to the top of that current move. you gave almost all of it back. All right, so that's a factor to consider for sure. Now on the daily chart, it's much easier to see this pattern here. Right, this is a much larger ascending triangle. So this is that's good news, because a breakout from that pattern is all right. Let's get rid of that. A breakout from the pattern is some type of confluence. If you're a pattern trader, you would have something like this, similar to this. This aqua line is actually the same line you would put if you were going to draw the pattern out. All right, so you have resistance at the top consistently, and then you're making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows within a trend that is giving support. The breakout of that move is one, you could trade it. If you're aggressive, you trade the breakout right away. If you're more conservative, you would let it break out, look for the retrace, a retest, and then you play the retest. So a couple different ways to trade that. That's what's cool about patterns. But what I'm looking for is key areas of support and resistance that I would like to have a better consideration for where we are currently. So in the daily view, we can see this long downtrend. Okay, we obviously know we had a downtrend. This area here is all sideways. There's no particular trend. No particular trend up or down. Mostly just sideways. Certainly not down like this with that deep slope. We had a bit of a move up. Weren't able to capitalize. Ended up making a lower high over here. So you can draw your trend here if you want. Everybody's different when it comes to bodies or wicks. I just try to do what makes sense, and what makes sense for me doesn't follow those rules. So sorry about that, but in any event, this is this is really this is beautiful right here. So this gives you just more confluence, right? You had a downtrend coming down, perfectly met right here, the breakout of that downtrend on top of this symmetrical triangle on the shorter view, right? It's still the daily, but it's shorter. This whole pattern right here, if you were to lay out another one of these guys, and let's say we laid it out from, well, I want to do something like this. The bottom is not beautiful, so again, it's not the greatest, but it would look similar to this, and this would be another triangle. All right, now this is the opposite kind of triangle. This particular triangle is descending, so it's a descending triangle, not symmetrical, not ascending, where this one was ascending. All right, so we got those to look at there. That at least gets me my head in the right zone. Key areas over here would be resistance levels. Price came down, it found support, came back up, came back down again, found support again, very similar area, came back up, found resistance again, and then broke through that support. So I would lay one of these guys on here just to get an idea of how well this was respected, and it was. It acted as resistance for this whole zone, dropped down, found another key level of support, broke through it, bounced off it, so now support again, support again, support again, dropped back down, tested it as resistance, and then went back down to that lower channel. So now this lower range was ping-ponging back and forth. A nice breakout failed to break out past this key zone. Another attempt at a breakout failed to get past that key zone, and further downside back into this channel, up and then over. So this is nice. However, it hasn't closed above it, so that would be a concern for me. Although I do really like the move, the current move is really nice. Failure of a similar move like that in the past sort of has me on the sidelines. Not 100% sure I would play this. I would be more confident in a trade like this when we have broken this level, this upper aqua level, to get out of areas that have failed consistently in the past. I would feel a lot better if we were out of that. Now, I do like the break of trend. That certainly has my attention, and I do like, well, now yeah, now with this trend, now you have a symmetrical triangle. So I do like the break of the symmetrical triangle on the smaller time frame and an ascending triangle. Um, and on the much larger macro view, whew, you got a descending triangle. So yeah, this thing's just all over the place. Lots of patterns, pretty cool stuff. Lots of support and resistance. So there we go with that. Like I said, for me, yeah, I would probably wait. Um, Keep a close eye on price action and see what happens on the hourly charts as far as how's it looking. Does it look like they're going to maintain some steam on there, or does it look like I said, we lost a 382, we lost a 5. Let's see how it reacts on the 618. And if the 618 has a nice spring to it, okay, I might have missed out on that next big move. You know, I could play the retest here, and then we have a new trend to work off of and get an idea of are we going to respect that trend. Where are we at here? 549. So 549 close is coming soon. 10 minutes on the daily close. So that's cool. Let me refresh this thing over here, and let me refresh that thing over there. Cool. Good stuff. Very nice. Yeah, the computer's tired. All right, so ENG. So engine, BTC, 20% move up, 34 retraced already. Looks like smaller time frames are trying to start a bit of a bull trend and try to work out the bearish tone here. So this is actually a pretty good, or should be a pretty good example. This is something to take a look at. Small cap again, 22 million with only 272 in volume for Bitcoin, at least on Binance. So, you know, it's not one of these. It's not a 7 million. It's not a micro cap, but it is certainly a small cap for sure. But let's take a look. ENG BTC. Here we go. Come on. It's working on it. It's working on it. ENG BTC. Let's pull this chart up. There we go. And let's see what we got. Alright, so massive downtrend. Obviously we're on the daily chart. Sideways action here. So bit of a range. This move is the current move that we're kind of tracking. Want to get a little bit more of a global view on what's happening here. I do like moves out of range for sure. When they break out of that consolidation period, it's definitely an area of interest. Overall, let's see, what is... Oh, Enigma. I'm sorry, I thought it was... Oh, yeah. ENJ is engine. And ENG is Enigma. All right. Very good. So, let's see. Looks like a lot of smaller cap coins. Going back to the high was either in December or January. And year-long downtrend. Big spike down, probably, yeah, so about a month behind Bitcoin was February 5th, and big down here was about March 19th, 18th we'll call it. Came back up and made another huge leg down, and since has sort of quieted off a little bit. So I might come over here and I might do something similar to this. This will give me an area that, oh man, I'm telling you, when I get a new computer, life is going to improve exponentially. All right, so I would do something like this. Can we do that? That would be great. Come on, there you go. There it is. Takes a little time. All right, so I would do something similar to that to get myself an area of support. It looks like it lasted for a little while. Flipped it right here, became resistance. We got a new, lower low in this ballpark. And if you're counting that wick, then for sure that was an area of interest. Since then, we're just choppy all over that block. So, again, more range trading, and then big moves out of range is nice. I'm trying to look for similar moves before I zoom in too much. But there are a lot of big spike moves on the daily chart that have retraced fully. This is a good one. We had a good peak move up. That's probably similar to the 50 or the 618. and then continue move up. That's nice. This is a large move up, and that's a pretty massive, pretty deep retracement here if you were going to come from this swing low. So if that's the case, then that would, if we had to guess, 618 to a 786 retracement on there, but weren't able to do anything afterwards and ended up coming back down. So now you're downtrend. Obviously, you got a high and then you got a lower high. You got your lows and your lower lows. So now you're in a downtrend. This is a retracement, so this is actually a fairly good move coming down here. And that's probably a retracement to the 382 or the 50. Swinging back down here, made another good move down, and you can see all the little impulse moves in between that, right? The micro trends. You can see all those little pullbacks, or retracements. And then we get to this area here, and instead of continuing with that kind of violence, it really leveled off. So I'm looking at this as a range area, and that is going to come into play for me trading anything in the future, because this area of consolidation I want to be away from. If I do trade it, this will act as, for me, this will act as resistance levels or profit targets for something similar to this. Would like to get at least out of the trade or be mindful of that type of resistance, that type of consolidation that we've seen in the past. So bringing up historical data and using it to your advantage, well, I mean, that's what I do. It's not like you have to do it. But that's where I pull some stuff from. What do we have? 5:55. So 5 minutes to the daily. Come on, computer. It's going to do it. It usually does. It's going to work. I wish I had maybe a good story to tell. You know, to pass the time by. Something really monumental and impactful that would change people's lives in a positive way. No, nothing like that. I'm just gonna look at the chart and wait for it to do something. That's terrible. It's terrible. I apologize. Come on, get up there, dear Lord. We're working on it. We're working on it. Trying to make some moves on the other side of the computer to limit resources as much as I can in order to give this thing a little bit of something. There we go. See, it is a glorious thing. All right, so again, range trading, range over here. I just have these temporary markers down here giving me a little bit of a channel, an area of interest. You have another whole new channel here, obviously. So this little range here was making a bit of a move down, which is something that we can at least take a look at. So I might do something similar to this, and then I can do something similar to this and just give it a look and see what we're dealing with. So we have like a nice channel over here of trading. Another falling wedge, break of the falling wedge, which is good. Do like to see that. Dealing with these types of candles here, you know, that don't conform to the pattern. It depends on how you draw it and how you analyze it. Right. So for me, I'm okay with what I have right here. This looks more of a trend for me. So it looks more like a channel, a parallel channel, as opposed to using this extreme candle down here and sort of throwing it all off. So I'm just going to take a look at what something like this would look like. And I feel better about these moves here. So I'm cool with this. I'm going to leave that up so I can take a better look. Now this giant move here would have been a very interesting move to analyze as it happened. But again, it was a failure, right? So would have had this big move up, would have had this huge pullback, and then sideways. Same thing here. Big giant candle up and not able to capitalize, pushed it right back down and ended up making a lower low. So that's why we have to be a little bit careful about coming into trades like this if you have previous data that's telling you This has been a tough zone to get out of. So similar to CND, I would feel a lot better about this when we're up over here, closed up over here. Now I'm okay with breaking out of this wedge. I would expect a retest and then a move up. And if we're able to lose this little range and get back into this range, then I might play long, and I would use this area as resistance. Looking at it today, things change on a daily basis, so volume is consistently creeping up, and maybe we got some support from some MAs. I might have a different story when we get to a resistance area, but for now, that's what I would be looking at. So I'm going to pull up the Bitcoin chart again. It looks like we are 1 minute away from the daily close, which again is always exciting. Well, can be exciting. we've certainly had some boring days of trading. Let me get this into view here. Come on, working on it. Come on, get up there. Volume today, let's see, under the average, or at least our moving average. Let's say volume. I know it's getting there. You kind of see what we're doing here. There we go. All right, so again, the Gartley pattern, the bullish Gartley, the falling wedge that we're always looking at. And, of course, on the daily, not much of a pattern here, but that is what we were looking at on the hourly chart. A little bit of a bull pennant. Let me get rid of this guy so it's out of the way. Yes, get out of the way. There you go. All right, so just on this current move, this is what we were looking at. We were trading down to the 382. Looks like we just closed that candle. So from a distance, right, it's a doji candle, not quite a spinning top. So pure indecision. Come on. Pure indecision on that candle, just a tug of war battle. Oh my lord. This might be the end of my streaming days. All right, there we go. And it's a little better.